Everybody, it is Thursday. Back with another dose of economic reality. In this case, let's just kind of look at the broad picture right now of what's happening, not just in the economy, but what's happening across the world. We've got chaos over in the UK. Now, I try not to get political on this channel. I could name you more than one politician in the UK, so I'm not a political channel. But look at what happened over there. We have over 60 officials resigning or announcing their exit all at the same time. This is unprecedented. And I'm not going to get into all the fine details, but does it seem normal to you to have situations like this where you see so many people resigning at once? Basically, it's chaos over there. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. To me, it looks like a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. Of course, we know what's happening within the scenes, what we're seeing every day with this situation, this health crisis, the supply chain issues which have not been resolved. In fact, they're talking about shortages and rationing of diesel oil. And that can affect the whole transportation industry, and that could affect even the entire power grid. And for those that don't think something like that is possible, that we could see power grid going out or going down, or disruptions or shortages, because when there's shortages of oil for diesel transport, coal needs to be delivered to the power plants, and that's going to affect the power grid. People won't be able to charge their electric vehicles. Trucks will not be able to deliver items to stores. There'll be a lot of people without food, without a lot of goods and services will be just not available without the trucking industry. So we've covered this a few times on this channel. We are all in some way, shape, or form dependent on the grid or the system, including the transportation industry. How long can you go without going to a store or someplace to purchase something? Most people, not very long. Unless you're living off grid, unless you're Amish somewhere living way out off the grid, not dependent on these things. Even then, they still are dependent on certain things, even fertilizer. Amish have to go to stores and get fertilizer in many cases. But let's talk about the markets today. What happened today? Dow Jones in the green. All major indexes in the green. Dow Jones up over 1%. In fact, all indexes up over 1%. Over 2% on the NASDAQ and the Russell 2000, even with bad economic news. U.S. jobless claims, the highest since January. But yet stock markets in the green. We've covered that numerous times, how the markets are fake and phony. We think until some major announcements of rate cuts come along that we're still going to see weakness in the market. Yes, you're going to have green days. Markets don't go straight up and down. There's little mini booms and busts along the trend line, and right now the overall trend line is down. Remember, we're still down 16% from the top of the Dow Jones. That's just one example. The S&P 500 saw the worst start to a year, January through June 2022, the worst start in over 50 years on the S&P 500. Today also we have oil back up over $100. We have the 10-year bond jumping back up over 3%. Now we saw a dive in mortgage rates. Mortgage rates went down by about a half a percentage point, and that's not enough to bring a new life into the housing market. We're still going to see weakening home demand, and in fact, listings are up 19% now, year over year. So we're starting to see things continue. We're continuing to see the housing market turn, and hopefully we'll not see any rescue programs come out to rescue home prices. That's really my hope. I think that's going to be the best for everyone at the end. Remember, the powers that be, they are interested in seeing higher home prices. Higher home prices equals a higher tax base. I was talking to a friend of mine who moved out here to California from Indiana. And what he's saying now is his property taxes, and he's been here for at least 6 years now, his property taxes here in California are higher than what he was paying for rent in Indiana. So when you just look at the cost of owning a home, the carrying cost, even if you have the home paid off, these price levels, especially for people that bought just in the past few years, these price levels are painful to so many people. You look at the taxes, just the taxes alone, even if the home's paid off, is a lot of money. When someone's paying more in taxes than they were for their entire rent, of course we're comparing Indiana to California, but still the cost is the cost. I mean, hopefully he's making more money out here than he did back there, but it's just simply amazing that people are continuing to keep this up and just keep up with these costs, keep their head above water. And it's not going to be forever, though. I mean, we're seeing the savings rate plunge. We see the debt levels exploding, and it's just a matter of time. There's going to be some other things unfolding that are likely going to distract people and not put the blame where it needs to be blamed. But the time for blame is really over. All we can do now is prepare and get ready for what's coming. And I think with what's happening over in the UK, could we see something like that happening here? We've mentioned that from time to time over the past couple years. Political upheaval, unseen events that just come out of nowhere, a sudden outage of the transportation system because of the diesel oil situation. What else can happen that we haven't already seen? Well, we're about to find out here, and I think this year is going to get very, very interesting. Now let's dive into some other news here real quick. Talk about the job situation, the labor market, and layoffs. Layoffs are increasing. Now that should be no surprise as the consumer slows down on spending, as people get closer to being maxed out on their credit cards. You're going to see that come through in the job industry. So we have the highest layoffs now. Layoffs jumped 57% in June. That's the highest since February 2021. So that's about an 18-month high. Job cuts increased 39% to 77,000 now in the second quarter. And what's happening right now is employers are responding to lower demand, and they're looking to cut costs. And part of cost cutting is, unfortunately, layoffs. And that gets the snowball rolling even faster. When there's layoffs, there's less spending out in the economy. People that got laid off are going to be less likely to take that vacation, less likely to go get a loan and buy a car, of course less likely to get a mortgage. If you're laid off, good luck with most of those things. And that creates the snowball, because when the economy is based on debt, borrowing, and spending, then when you get close to that credit limit, which a lot of people are close to their credit limit now, that's when you start to see the real pain unfold. So things are likely to accelerate from here, and all we can do is continue to prepare. I say keep stacking, and that's going to be different for everybody. To many, it's survival items or goods. If you think there's going to be a shortage of something, go out and get some if you can. And hopefully we won't see some sort of instant outage where everything goes dark and we just see a collapse. But with what's happening over in the UK, with the political situation over there, there's a lot of things happening globally that are not in our view. But if we just look at certain stories like the UK thing, we know that something's not right behind the scenes. Something big is brewing behind the scene. As I said on my last report where I was walking on by the ocean, something is brewing under the surface. It may look calm on the surface, but definitely things are brewing under the surface. We have $2 trillion being pumped in and out of the banks here on the overnight repo market. And if anyone thinks that's normal, that's unprecedented. We're seeing just lots of unprecedented things. The debt levels, unprecedented. The repo operations into the banks, unprecedented. The number of people resigning over in the UK, unprecedented. And as we continue to move along here to the end of the year, we're going to see more things happen. We're going to see, wow, we've never seen this before. What's going on? So get ready, everybody. Bottom line, thanks for being here. Keep stacking. Hope you're well. Peace.